So, very, very well, guys, ladies and gentlemen. I'm excited to get back. I'm excited to get back into the trend picture. I think it's important. I didn't come in the middle of the week. I apologize about that. I had some issues with the microphone, and I don't like for my voice to sound really funny like this when I'm doing my cast. So, we're back. The mics are up. Audio's fine. Everything's good. I'm excited to clear this trend picture up because there's a lot of laggers out there, and there's some of these trends haven't been setting higher highs, and some of them have been running without us. Okay, in my opinion, a good trend follower doesn't. If for the stocks that are fitting your criteria, if you're not riding those trends, then you're not doing a very good job at trend following. I'm not saying you're going to ride everything, but some of the main moves in the market, you should be a part of those moves. You shouldn't be missing those. Okay. So with that being said, let's just keep riding the same winners out through September. All right, and remember, we're not making a lot of money if we're not sitting tight, because how do we make the big points is if we're sitting tight, letting that chart fulfill itself. I'm not saying for us just to sit tight in places that we shouldn't be sitting at, but we should be sitting inside the right trends and letting them kind of move their ways to the upside. We should be riding waves. Okay, so let's jump into a quote from Mr. Druckenmiller, who was basically a student of George Soros. George Soros, if you guys haven't done your homework, I can't give you anything on George Soros. You should know that already. Okay. All these are trend following principles and techniques and thought processes, so to speak. I've learned many things from him, George Soros, but perhaps the most significant is that it's not whether you're right or wrong that's important, but how much money you make when you're right and how much you lose when you're wrong. Remember, I showed you guys those my positions that I had really big. We should have really big winners, okay? And our losers should be itty bitty. We should be keeping these itty bitty losers, all right? And we should be riding out big trends if we can find them, if we can ride them, all right? And we should be getting quadruple back what we're getting back on our losers, all right? And you guys know one of the main favorite things that we live back here, so I just wanted to kind of bring this back to the basics, is the way to build long-term returns, superior long-term returns, is through preservation of capital, okay, which is risk management, and home runs. Home runs, which is sitting tight in the right places, okay? All right. So let's take that from Druckenmiller. Winning big, losing small. Okay? And building superior long-term returns through preservation of capital, which is risk management. We should always be protecting our ass. If we're not safe inside of a position, if we don't feel safe in a position, if we don't feel comfortable enough with something where we're at, then we should be protecting our ass and we should be minimizing our risk. Rather, that's cutting down on your share size, okay? Rather, that's scaling out, okay? Being less aggressive and waiting for those buy signals, taking those buy signals and not trading noise, okay? So let's keep hitting these home runs, which we've hit several, and we're going to get into that. Thank you, George. Thank you, Stanley Druckenmiller, one of my favorite trend followers of all time. AMD's running without people. If you're not an AMD, that thing's been running, okay? Been running for, as you see this time frame. Let me go ahead and go to the yearly. See how we look on the 6. Okay, so on the 6. We've been running rampant on the 6, guys. So AMD had the same key signal. This is the key signal that we're going to be taking this year, guys. Just this one right here, these higher highs and lows, and we're going to take our longs. As long as we can find this pattern, we're going to be sitting tight on it, okay? AMD, and you see it up here in the top right now, top right of that chart. You guys know what our favorite thing is here. We always try to buy something in the bottom left and see if it can get to that top right. Or if we even buying strength, we can buy strength. This was the top right when you could have bought this at 24. This was the top right of the chart. This was the top right of the chart. Okay, this was the top right of the chart at one point. Okay, so we have to be buying. This was the top right of the chart at one point. We have to be buying the top right of this chart. Okay, there's different ways that we can approach this thing. We can be buying the top right, which is buying strength at its best, or we can be buying pullbacks. We can be buying pullbacks and long-term uptrends. Okay, there's a couple different ways we can approach this thing. But as I was telling you guys, AMD, just a beautiful locomotive, maybe pulling back here and then getting ready to set more higher highs. So watch what this thing does. But definitely, it's been bouncing pretty well off this 20-day moving average. A lot of action towards this 20-day, so it might be coming near this and trading off of that. So, but AMD, try to catch a move on ride on that thing. Beautiful stuff there. TLRY just kind of traded, and I just was daydreaming about the girl in my classroom. The teacher's like, Tyson. Like, oh, sorry. Yeah, that's what I was doing when TLRY was doing this. I was daydreaming about the girl in class. Don't be the guy in class daydreaming when trends are doing this, all right? Okay? We need to be catching these liftoff points, quote unquote, was what I like to call liftoff points. It's kind of like an airplane just kind of getting off the takeoff thing here. So, and this is the same thing with AMD. Same signal that we should be taking. There's just these higher highs breaking out of resistant level like this. When it breaks out of those resistant levels and starts setting consistent higher highs, you should be taking these longs, okay? And if you were trading well enough, you might have missed the breakout here at 35 or 34. You might have missed the breakout at 34, but when it continued after the breakout, you should have been buying it when it continued to do that member stepping pattern sort of thing I showed you guys before. Just sets a higher high, consolidates, sets a higher high, consolidates, sets a higher high, you know, does this thing and just keeps struggling. So you should have been buying the breakout, and if you weren't buying the breakout, you should have been buying the consistent higher highs and lows here. Okay, TLRY. That thing may continue to go. This pattern here looks exactly like this pattern here, which is like basically a buying point with the stop below 99, stop below this area here. Okay, TLRY, TNDM just. You can't say much about this stock, guys. One of the more consistent stocks on the market. All right. Remember, we took the signal on this stock back here. And if you see this great bolt of Thor coming through, it's not actually Thor's bolt. It's this kind of tipping point that we were looking at. And then we were saying if we break out of this kind of structure here, you know, tip, 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 and then we broke out. I said, okay, we broke out of it. It's on and popping. And then I'll go back, make some sense of this, right? This was the trend line, the lifting off point that we were looking at. This was the lifting off point. We were like, okay, we started buying here, and had no idea. Well, we did kind of figure that this chart would kind of curl and cover some of these, cover this area and cover some prices here. We were buying it way before it even covered this area. We were buying it way back here, and we were, because it was curling. This is our favorite little structure here, a curling a downtrend on the five-year time frame, and then when you pop into that 1 year time frame, you're gonna see this great giant strength. Kind of like that strong arm emoji. Okay, so TNDM for continuation. You don't really need me to hold your hand through this. This is kind of self-explanatory here. If you guys been watching the show, you guys kind of know how to do this yourself now. Stop yourself out here below 54 and below these price action levels here. But as you see, it's holding here, bounced up, tried to retreat, and kind of barreled here and kind of trying to bounce up. So this area right here is a kind of a safe net right here. So below 46, 45 on that thing. Okay. We just got to keep trading good, guys. We just got to keep taking the signals, sitting tight, and not shaking ourselves out of good uptrends. Okay. All right. As long as prices are to the upside, this looks horrible. What is this about? As long as prices are to the upside, we'll just trade price to the upside, okay? That's what this thing is about. It looks crappy on the on the 5-day. Let me see, was that the 5? Yeah, that was the 5. So here we go. We're holding up this price range here. I like this breakout over 17. As you guys see, some strange music, right? Why is that thing exactly at $17? The market, it knows exactly what it's doing. That's why it's in your best interest to trade with the market and trade price. It's in your best interest because the market always knows what it's doing. The market's never wrong. You're wrong in your end. You're wrong in your anticipation of the market or in your thoughts of what the market was going to do. You're wrong. You should always be trading with the market. And for me to make another valid point, you always, what we focus on here and what we kind of came to understand is that as long as you're trading with the predominant trend, you should be in good hands, okay? And so this is this BEL thing, and I know I'm just clicking away. So we broke out of this level here. We broke out of this, so we're kind of at since 2000 and whatever this time frame is, 2009, whatever. We're kind of like prices are at their highest level. Okay, so we've did a lot. That stocks has done a lot, and it's kind of just sitting on top of those prices there. Okay, so let's see what happens. Let me pan in real quick, pan into that monthly. So we should be holding up 1550. You got a few levels here. You got 1650, you got 16, and you got 1550. This thing is just basically barreling through these levels really consistently. Okay, barreling through these levels really consistently. BEL. All right. ANGI's thing, I remember it looking kind of decent back then, and I said, oh, it looks kind of decent, and I didn't trade it. Of course I didn't trade it, like I don't take signals that I'm supposed to take. That's why sometimes discretionary trading and systematic trading it has its downfalls, because signals you should be taking, scans you should be scanning for, stocks you should be noticing, you're not taking the signals on them. Okay, I should have been buying this thing back here when I already saw the stock almost a year ago, and it looked really well because it was kind of doing this thing, higher highs and lows, and I was like, oh, okay. And then I look back at it and it's at $24, okay, 23 and some change. So ANGI, I like for it to hold up these levels up here. Hold up, it will probably attempt to hold up this support level here, okay? This resistance turned support. So this thing barreled through that. Look at it. Barreled here, pulled back, barreled here, pulled back, barreled here. Probably some pullback coming in, but probably to this level here. As you see, it held this level. See this breakout level held that. This breakout level probably should hold that. Okay, this breakout level. You guys get it? See the stock moving really consistently. ANGI's home services thing. All right, keep your eyes on that one for a while. BVX. I don't take a lot of signals anyways. I mean, I've got a certain criteria of stocks that I'm shooting for. If something's out of my price range, it's just out of my price range. If a stock's going to trade from 7 to, 50 and I catch it long at 14 or 20, I'm kind of late, a little bit late to the party. I should be taking those signals on the breakout to 7.50 and 8 going into $9, okay? I don't like kind of falling behind on my trend following. All right, I don't like falling behind on my positions. I like catching my positions early, kind of like TNDM. Okay, that's a perfect way to trade a trend in my opinion. Buying breakouts out of key levels and then riding those breakouts and see where they go. So this was a breakout out of a key level. See this yearly time frame? So this was a breakout over a key level, and then you're supposed to just ride that thing out. So as you see it attempted here, pulled back, attempted here, pulled back. So as this was a sign that we were trying to break out of price here, okay? And then when we finally pulled back and found some levels to curl, so we were so close, prices were so close to the resistance level, the breakout level, well, Well, they were trading in here, kind of. Remember what I told you guys last week? A stock's like, wait a second. The quarterback's like, red 55. He's like, no, red 56. And he's like, okay. He motions this guy to go to the right, and he's like, okay, we're gonna find a way to get through this. And then they finally, boom, barrel through. So you should be buying this breakout, and you should be sitting tight and see where that breakout goes. And then if you bought this breakout on BVX, you'd still be sitting tight. You wouldn't really technically have a reason to sell because we're still on the move there. Okay, so BVX, I like that thing for continuation. You see it just pulling up, trading, pulling up, trading. So I like for it to hold these levels 680 and 640 on a long there, for it to hold those levels up. I don't like always waiting around for things to pull back and this, that, and the third. It's like, oh, I'm waiting for you know what? This is not the way I trade. Either we're gonna look at the levels we have and we're gonna buy them when prices, when the markets open or when they close, or we're not gonna be trying to guesstimate what a stock's gonna do. We're like, oh, it should pull back here and we'll be able to buy out here. And no, we don't do that. We buy the pullbacks that we get offered, and we buy the levels that we get offered. We don't just try to you know, magically guess what a stock's gonna do. Speculating is all about you reacting to what a stock does. You having a plan when a stock does something. If a stock does A, B, C, or D, when a stock makes that A, B, or C, D move, you have a plan and your reaction to it. Okay? But we're not guesstimating what a stock's going to do. Okay? So that's why I don't like always, hey, waiting and pull. I'm going to wait for this stock to pull back and I'm going to buy it here and I'm going to, no. You don't never know when a stock's going to pull up. Stock, you could be waiting for a pullback and it can carry on 2, 3, 4, 5 points without you. And meanwhile, you're waiting for a pullback. Okay? That's why I like buying. See this level of least resistance here, right inside this area. See this, right inside of here, barreling right. Look at my arm. See this little finger just telling us exactly where this level's at. Right here. This is where you should be buying this stock right now. It's inside this level of least resistance to carry this upside up. Okay, stop yourself out below. I know I'm kind of back out on the time frame, but this stock, it's kind of very consistent right here. Look at that monthly. And the 5 day is going to look decent, of course. If the monthly carrying all that. What I tell you guys about matching up time frames, okay? You see that trajectory on the 1 year time frame? Look at the strength there on the 1 year time frame. Stock is at, if you looked at a clock, this is at 2 o'clock. You come to the 6 month, the stock's at 2 o'clock. Come to the 3 month, the stock's at 2 o'clock. Even stronger in this closer time frame right here. Stock's at 2 o'clock still. That's all the way from a year. The same structure. Here we go on the monthly. Still at 2 o'clock. Okay? We go to the 5 day. We still have this structure holding up here. Still strength. Damn near at 2 o'clock. Okay? That's what I call matching up all time frames. There's no confusion in what this stock's doing and where it's headed. It's just if you're going to buy it when you should buy it, and if you're going to sit tight like you should and let this stock develop. Look at all the ground we covered here, you guys. Look at all the ground we covered here in a month. All right? From 17 to 27. CDNA. Fucking beautiful. And what was your signal? There was no head and shoulders and no guy popping out. You're waiting for Jack in the Box to and pop out and do all this, you know, goofy shit. No, we're not doing that. Just waiting on, we're just buying price as it's trading consistently. If you would have bought this price when it was making these consistent higher highs and lows, it was a freaking no-brainer what we were doing. And you gathered 10 points in a month. All right? So this is where we should be sitting at. Cliff Natural Resources. Cleveland Cliffs or something like that. All right, here we go. Consistency here in the price. I like this thing for a long. Let's see what happens here, okay? All right. CLF, I like this thing for a long. We just saw CDNA run from, we didn't take the time frames back to see where prices had retreated from. But that stock was, I remember that stock being at like $6, $7 a year ago, CDNA. See what I'm saying? The stock was at 4, 5. Like I said, I remember the stock being at like $7. Not too long ago, okay? That's me again failing to buy, take signals and sit tight. You can't get no better. Look at this. just consistency. If you were a good trend follower, when you noticed this stock and you saw it, you bought it and you just sat tight. And then now you'd be right here. You bought this. Let me see. Well, what day was this? April of 2018. You guys, this is almost 6 months. Okay, fairly decent time to hold a stock. In my opinion, I hold my winners this long, and I'll hold my winners until they're not winners anymore. It's like a good old dog, you know. If he's a good old dog, you keep going with that good old dog until he does otherwise, you know. And if he's a good game dog, he's gonna keep going, you know. He ain't gonna quit. A good game dog will stand there stiff before and he thinks he's won the whole thing, and he'll still go try to make a scratch, you know. So you gotta hold these good game dogs, man, and kind of let them work their way out, you know. But anyways, CDNA, man, just a beast. It goes to show you when we're looking at $5, $6, $7, $8, $9, $10 stocks that have the criteria that we like to look for, we take the longs and we sit tight, okay? Because you don't know where they're going to be at. It's $5, $6, $7 stock, $26, $20 extra dollars now. I can't even figure the percentage on that. I don't know if it'd be 1,000, 2,000, some percent on that return. And you guys wonder how people look at the show and they're like, well, I doubt Ed Sykota really made 250,000. Well, this is how he did it. Taking these kind of runs. This is about 1,000, 2,000% on this run here. If you caught this from $5, $6 when it broke out here, and I'm pretty sure this was a breakout level because you got this big candle, and you guys know from what we studied here, when you see these giant candles, sometimes it's like a stock breaking out of a key level. And that's why prices get to this, because you got a lot of buyers, whatever you might and what have you not have you, and what do you have you buying these levels, pushing, understanding where prices are on and relations to the chart and such forth. Okay, CDNA. I think I spent too much time there. Eric, there's a lot of stuff for me to get through, guys. I'm gonna speed it up. Okay, Eric looking really good. All right, just so much of these consistent moves to the upside. We need to be paying attention to them. Okay, Erickson. This is that nice little ads each representing I don't know what the hell that means. Is this the real Eric? Wait a second, guys. How many Erics are there? There could be, when you're on this trade net, man, there's so many different Erics and different yeah, this is it. This is the correct one. So yeah, this thing looks pretty nice. I like along here in this area. Hold up this price. Just consistent moving up and down, up higher highs and lows. So I like this thing for what it's doing now. Okay, Ericsson have some definitely that, that's gonna have some decent market cap behind it. So I like that. Ericsson CX, this Mexican cement thing, looks pretty decent last time I saw it, and it looked decent when I was scanning coming into the weekend, coming out the week. So still looking pretty decent. Made this little curl. Now it's kind of trading inside this area. I like the strength here and what this stock's doing, where it stands at now in relation to the chart. Remember, this chart, where these prices are on the chart, is gonna tell you everything. You don't need no fundamentals. Fundamentals ain't gonna line you up with this. Fundamentals ain't gonna tell you this. You just need to trade price. That's it. All we're doing is trading price and what the chart's showing us. And the chart's showing us up higher highs and lows. We're in this little area here. This thing may kind of wiggle, may start attempting to break out back out of this area. Eventually, prices can only go three ways, guys. They can either go up, they can either go trade down, or they can trade sideways. But this stock is obviously trading up to the upside. Maybe a little sideways now, but this is to the upside, okay? So CX, I like that CX thing, okay? EVRI. Stock can only trade three ways, guys. Either up, it can trade down, or it can trade sideways. Or it can trade at 2 o'clock, which is still up. All right? I don't like where this thing's positioned at, this EVRI, but it looks pretty decent with the higher highs and lows here. May be ready for some pullback as you see the wiggles and shakes here. So this thing may be wiggling back. Watch what that stock does, EVRI. FDC, a good trend, a good reason to follow trends right here. This is good trend following in my opinion. if we could draw a base from here, this is the top of the base here, all right, and this is the bottom of the base here, okay? All right, so prices are at the top of that base now. You never know when stocks do go trade like this. Sometimes they go parabolic. They break out of this and then they go whammy to the upside, okay? But you should be watching what the stock's doing. It may try to come, you know, give some pullback, and so it can gather some momentum back. In my opinion, when the stock's up, pulling back, this is how it's gathering its momentum. This is like the wheels revving, the engine revving, you know, gathering its momentum so it can go back to the upside. Okay, pulling back here, gathering some momentum so it can, you know what I'm saying? You understand what I'm saying? All right, heading, push, gather you some momentum, get you some pullback, and head back to the upside. Pull back, gather you a little momentum, all right, to the upside. Pull back, gather you some momentum, big push to the upside. All right, let this push happen, let this push continue and follow itself through, and then watch to see where it pulls itself back through. All right, so it can keep rallying. FDC. FOMX. This is Saturday, guys. I know I'm going to get this out quickly so you guys can finish wrapping it up, and then I'll see you guys for Stock Talk tonight, and we'll talk about $1 million processes and firing bosses and taking control of our lives and not being 40-hour work week slaves, okay? Getting out of that whole locomotive there. So this thing looks kind of weird looking. Yeah, really weird looking. I don't know if I like. Okay, so we're decent on we're at a decent space on the chart here. All right, we're at a decent space. Let me show you where we're at. On the 5-year, we're in this structure here. So chart could start opening up. It's definitely to the upside now. Okay. As you see, this candle here is signifying where prices are trying to trade to. Okay, remember I told you guys on the last show, if a stock's already to the upside, well, obviously it's trying to trade to the upside. If the trend's to the upside, the stock is trying to get to the upside. So if you see something like this, this is showing you that the stock's trying to push some higher prices in there, okay? You should be trading that predominant, and if you're trading the predominant, if you're trading correctly with the predominant trend, then you're in good hands, okay? So I like this thing to continue. FOMX kind of looks a little cruddy, but we'll see what happens with that. GLUU, and one of the better things we've been following here, sitting at the top of its breakout line. Let's see if this thing breaks out this week, okay? What is that? 775. Breakout point 775. Remember I told you guys about stocks kind of setting themselves up? Oh, red 75! Red 75! We're going to find a way to get through this line here, guys. Yep, break! Okay, and they're trying to find a way to get through this line. All right? Don't be surprised if GLUU breaks out of this thing here, okay? Because I see some plays being called in this area here. I see some plays being called in this area to try to get a breakthrough finally. And if you get through here and look, you'll be like, okay, finally, this stock's trying to, we already broke out of this at the 5-year time frame. We already broke out of this and we're still sitting on top of it. Okay, so watch this thing to continue to the upside. All right, as you see what it's doing there, it called a play. Some play calling going on there, trying to get through this level. Some good play calling going on there. I like that. GLUU. Remember what we heard from these good trend followers. We need to be breaking down. We need to be basing buy and sell signals based on the chart, not based off of news. We need to be based off of what the chart is showing us. And we need to be breaking down these charts, understanding the levels that the trends are trading in. Because they're always going to have a sort of code of conduct for themselves. Some type of pattern they're going to be following. All right? And you need to kind of break the trend down to understand the science and the formula in which way each trend is trading itself in. Some trends may be trading off the 20-day moving average. Some trends may be just, you know, whatever, pulling back and continuing, pulling back. Some just, you know, you need to be trading with these locomotives. But remember what I told you. If you're trading with the predominant trend, you're in good hands. Unless something weird happens, which happens sometimes. Not very seldomly. about 25% of the time, maybe 15 to 25% of the time, things go way outside of their original. Look at this, 3 months. Okay, look at this 3 month. Since August, all right, this thing has been heading one way, pulling back and going, but headed one way. All right, so INSG for continuation. I got a lot of stocks. I can't be talking all day long. I like this Dr. Pepper thing, guys, a lot. Not only do I like Dr. Pepper myself, but I like what this stock is doing. I'm not Kramer. I'm not gonna be like, oh, Dr. Pepper, you know, let's fucking buy it for no reason. No. We always have a method to our madness, guys. There's always a method to this madness. But look at what this stock's been doing meanwhile. Okay? It's heading where it wants to go. It's got somewhere it needs to go. And your job is to trade with where it's going. All right? Put yourself in harm's way, so to speak. You're not in harm's way. You're in good harm right here. You're getting trading with the predominant, but you get what I'm saying. Kind of throw yourself in there. You know what? This is a car wreck. I know prices. I know these two cars are gonna smash into each other, but you know what? Just let me. You already know prices are going to the upside. Just throw yourself in there. All right, throw yourself in there with these higher highs and lows. Just throw yourself inside these higher highs and lows. And put your seatbelt on to stop you out. Your seatbelt's gonna save you in case we crash. All right, that's your stop. When prices start trading against the locomotive, the predominant, and things start looking weird. But look at this thing where it's headed. You could have bought it here. You could have bought it here when it was having consistency here. All right, you could have bought it here. But when it was on its way, moving with consistent higher highs and lows, of course it's going to gap up. What I tell you guys, if a stock's going to, on a predominant trend, trading, then of course it's going to gap up. It's not going to gap down. The hell? The stock's going trading to the upside. Why in the hell would it gap down? How in the hell is it gonna? Remember, if a stock's trying to get to where it's going, don't trade against it. You'd be better off buying this thing and freaking forgetting about it. Buying it, setting a stop, and say, all right, go ahead. Show me what you're working with. That's good trading. All right, KTOS looking good. That was Dr. Pepper. You guys keep that on your screens, all right? How about that Dr. Pepper thing? Guess they won't be having Ray Charles on their things anymore. No, that wasn't Ray Charles. That was that other guy. Sorry about that. Bill Cosby. Bill Cosby's not the right one, baby guy. All right, so yeah, I like this KTOS, guys. Pull back. Buying pullbacks and long-term uptrends is what? The default trade. We learned that from Larry, guys. Mr. Tintorelli. Have to put some respect on that man's name. Mr. Tintorelli. All right, so we're buying this pullback here, and we're going to see how it's going to wobble and shake out, okay? KTOS. Start to see when that thing starts to curl, find some support levels, and I'd be buying that to the upside. I'd definitely be buying that KTOS to the upside. That could be another $26, $27, $34, $44 stock soon. Okay, MNLO. All right. I don't have these stocks on here for no reason. We're always going to have a method to some kind of madness, guys. You guys know that. Always going to have some kind of method to our madness, okay? All right. Always going to have some kind of method to our madness. So I like this thing. Godly, I like this thing breaking out of this area here. This is a really good looking. This looks really good, guys. I really like how we're looking here, okay? Major gap down for whatever freaking reason. It's none of my business. All right? My job is to follow price. That's it. All right? But I like this thing broke out of this level here at 9 something. Now it's trading up in these higher prices, okay? And let me pan in. I just wanted to show you where the gap down was at. Now we traded right inside of that gap down. Remember what I told you guys? Sometimes stocks make no logical sense. They gap down to only gap up on themselves from where they gap down from. Okay? To me, it's like, why in the hell would you even gap down here if you were going to trade through it in the first freaking place? That's not my decision to make. My job is just to notice that and to buy it. Okay, and then ride price like we buy we kind of figure out, hey man, I kind of figure where you're going, stock, and we just buy it and sit tight. Good trading, in my opinion, you guys, is all about sitting tight. Because even if you bought this stock or not, you're not going to benefit from it unless you can't sit tight and let that move kind of develop. All right. MNLO. Pandora looking really nice. Get it together, Tyson. Pandora looking really nice. All right. All right. I like that thing. Follow that. A lot of market cap behind this stock. About 23 something billion. Okay. About 23 something. Same thing with Sirius XM. These things got a lot of market cap behind them. Now, the share structure matching, you know, how the wellness of that company matching the share price is a different story. Okay? But that's not our job either, is to freaking follow fundamentals. We know that. So just follow this Pandora to the upside. I like what it's doing. Okay? Kind of sitting at a nice level. Obviously, the predominance to the upside, you don't want to trade against that. You want to trade with that. Remember Ed Psychota asked you to put your hands inside the ocean and feel the waves. Trade with those waves. Don't freaking trade against those waves. Okay? Remember Ed Psychota said, put your hands in the ocean, and when you feel that wave, that's good trading. You're trading with that wave. You're not trying to predict it. This wave is showing you how it's moving. You just move with it. Remember I told you guys, just become one with what is. All right? This thing looks kind of decent right here. All right? It looks really good, not kind of decent. It looked kind of decent because it was on that 5-year. And that 5-year is confused. The 5-year doesn't really show a sense of direction. All right, but when you pan into this yearly, damn well showing you it has a case of where it's going, okay? So I like that thing to head out, and then you see it's pulling back, trading, pulling back, trading, pulling back, trading. And so it's trading in this area here, maybe pulling back soon. But definitely watch that thing to see where it's headed. A lot of movement behind that thing this week. PRQR, just showing you guys a lot of trends here. A lot of trends. A few of these I'm long on PRQR. I'm not long on PRQR, but I'm showing you guys. I wanted to show you guys UBX. All right. I showed you guys TLRY and why we shouldn't be missing moves like TLRY. That thing was at 20, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 110, 120. TLRY we looked at when we first came into today. So I like this stock over here to continue what it's doing. All right, let's see how it moves. PRQR. Okay. That's a therapeutic thing. No, I'm not only trading bios and therapeutics. What did I tell you? Wherever prices are trading, we are going to follow price. We're just following price. That's it. All right, SSC. I didn't like this thing. I've been seeing it all year long last year or just recently. Not just recently, but I've been seeing this thing for a while. But I'm liking how it's trading now. I like the strength it's holding up. I like where it stands inside the chart. And let's just see if this thing continues to set higher highs and lows. SSC kind of holding up this level here. So I put myself a stop out above old resistance here. Okay. If that can't hold resistance to support, then I don't want to do business. 460. SSC. Sprint. Let me give you guys Sprint because this thing's looking really good right now. Where it stands currently on its chart. Okay, Sprint looks really nice where it stands currently on its chart. Take you to the 5. See that curl that we're doing there? Really nice stuff on Sprint. Kind of less volatile. You know, a little less volatile. But definitely showing some upside. Prices can start opening up here. Looks like prices are trying to get somewhere. Let's just take along and enjoy the ride, okay? All right. TRU, and then I'm going to give you guys that UBX. TRUE. All right, TRUE, this true car thing. Jesus, look at that. Just like, remember that strong arm emoji I keep telling you guys about. This is what this stock is doing right here. Basically flexing its muscle. All right. in this yearly time frame. See it on the 5 looking good? See that consistency on the 5 looking good? And you pan into this yearly, boy oh boy, we start looking really decent, okay? All right, look at that. Remember our number one signal I like to take? I don't trade moving averages, but when I notice these moving averages crossing, it's a clear-cut signal to me. Prices are to the upside, and we should be sitting tight. We get a lot of action when that 200 and that 20 cross. When that 20 crosses the 200 to the upside, and the 20 is basically carrying price, and the 200's kind of carrying that 20 on its back. All right? That's a clear-cut sign that we'll take every single time. And then we'll sit tight and let prices trade and see where they go. True car looking really damn good. All right? Kind of just like a game dog. Just keeps chugging along. All right? The thing's oblivious to Trump right now. UBX. Okay. UBX looking really good. Let me give you a better time frame. Whoa. Whoa. All right. Sorry, guys. UBX, let's give you a better. Let me see what's going on with this. Why we like this thing. Okay. So we're traded out of this area, showing that strength that we like, showing that basically that strong arm. And this thing's not old at all. It doesn't even go back 6 months. Let me see. Wait a second. See what time frame we can get on here. So it's fairly new. It only goes back to June. Fairly new stock. Remember what I told you guys about fairly new stocks? When they open up, when they first open up, they might tread the water down on the lower side. But when they start, sentiment starts picking up. You need to be there with it. You don't want to be twiddling your thumbs or daydreaming about, Karina Lopez. In class, you just like, you there? You here with us? Oh, I thought you were asleep. All right, so don't be daydreaming when stocks are doing this. I like this thing for continuation. Let's see what happens after that gap up, though. Let's see how prices congest this area, so to speak. Okay. When I saw it was at 20, and I said, damn, I want to show these guys. I think it was right here. I said, damn, I want to show these guys this UBX thing. And then it gapped up and traded up in here. Okay, so UBX. All right. UISD. Get it together, buddy. All right, UIS. I wouldn't show you something if it didn't have that home run potential. All right, I wouldn't show. Look at that, guys. Obviously, we were looking at this thing back here at 11. Obviously, if the trend line's here, we were looking at this thing. It was obviously on our show at one point. We were like, okay, nice. Look at that. This just goes to show you these higher highs and lows that we like to take. This signal we like to take here. When you take this and you sit tight, what Duck say about his 95%? See, I don't know about that. I don't know how truthful these guys are. You guys are seeing on this freaking show the facts behind what we're talking about, though. Okay? That when these higher highs and lows come in and we take them and we sit tight, boy, we're talking about 10, 15, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70 points off the backside after we take the longs here. When we don't wait all year to take our longs, when we notice these structures, when we don't just, twiddle our thumbs all day and we don't miss these, man, we do good. We do damn good taking these higher highs and lows. It ain't no Jack in the Box popping out. You know what I'm saying? It ain't none of that. Just plain out signal right there. UIS, man, looking really good. All right. UIS looking really good. Let's continue. I like this VRAY. Second here. All right, I like this VRAY. Let's continue on and get ready to wrap this up. I like this VRAY. VRAY sitting in a very nice point, continuing to the upside. Just looks great. I like that VRAY. Like that VRAY. Continuing to the upside looks really nice. Okay. No strange music with that. VSTM looks better than a lot of them. Looks really good as well. We don't know where these things are going to take us. I like to take along on this and see where it's going to go, guys. Have some patience. You're not trading. You're not trend following. You're not trading good if you're not sitting tight and letting these moves develop, okay? Buy this thing here with the stop below. Obviously, this is the buying point. These were the these pullbacks where you're buying these at. Buying these pullbacks, 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 buying those pullbacks, buying these pullbacks. Okay, buy these pullbacks. VSTM, no strange music there. That's pretty clear cut and evident what's happening there. Chicken soup for the soul. I wanted to see what this was all cooking about here. And I'll see here. I don't really like myself personally how this thing looks okay. It looks decent, but no, I don't like that. Yeah. Okay. VHC. All right, guys. Another showing some strength there. Okay. We'll see what happened on 5. All right. So we're showing something. We could be moving somewhere, but not necessarily though. We'd have to break out of this level for me to be interested in this thing here, and we tried to. So we'll see. Breakout over 520. We actually broke out of this level here, so maybe something special cooking up there. We'll see. VHC. I remember this thing trading very well not too long ago. Okay. Let me give you guys RUBI, AMRS, CDMO. Some of my longs, I'm long RUBI project. Long RUBI project right now. Okay. I bought, remember what last time we were looking at this thing, guys, what we were looking at. Remember? When we were looking at this long, we said we were gonna buy this area here. We started buying this area here. Started buying this pullback area right in inside of here, and we were stopping ourselves out below this. We're buying this area here. Never got stopped out though. Never got stopped out. Okay. Now RUBI's kind of continuing up to its upside. We're buying this area here. You can still kind of buy this. You're breaking out now off the bottom portion though. Now you're starting to move off the bottom portion of the trend. We're buying the bottom portion of this trend. See this? Right here at the bottom, here at the bottom, here at the bottom of this trend, here at the bottom. See it again at that space. We're here at the bottom of this trend again. So I like that thing when it's okay. All right, so we'll wrap it up with that. Oh, let me give you guys CDMO, and then we'll close out. CDMO, you guys saw TNDM, just a savage beast. Keep following these good moves to the upside, okay? CDMO, I think, is going to be breaking out of this level soon. Keep your long, sit tight, have some patience. Let these stocks do what they're going to do. Remember, they're traded at their own pace, not at your pace. All right, CDMO, like that for continuation. All right. Let me show you what's happening with this thing, AMRS. Some guys in my club are like, well, that thing's really struggling. I do agree with you. This thing's definitely kind of in a weird little area. You'd probably want to buy this when you see some green coming in here. I didn't know that it closed all the way back to this structure. I had no idea it was going to come up here and then come back all the way into this structure. In my opinion, this resistance should have held, and then these levels should have held up, but they didn't. So I started closing fairly a good amount of my position out of here because I'm not into trading on the downside. I'm into protecting what I have. So if this thing can find itself, then I'll trade it to the upside. If not, then it's dead to me. Dead to me. Absolutely dead to me. Okay. So thank you guys, and I'll see you guys. We'll trade out through the week, and then we'll brighten up everything. But a lot of stocks in this, but I mean, we got to follow these trends, guys. Okay. So manage that risk in any case, and I'll see you guys back here in the middle of the week. I'll be back in the middle of the week to we'll take a look at the trends, and we'll see what's kind of holding up, what's holding up. All right. And we'll see what's not holding up, okay? So manage that risk and keep hitting these home runs and protecting your capital and protecting your ass. All right. Happy trend following.